Will I get another streak? That's a good question. I don't know. It looks like it saved the time. I speed ran the shit out of that restart. I restarted my computer and got OBS back up in like 60 seconds. Let me use my 4 twerk emotes. Okay. Hold on, let me see these. Okay. The SpongeBob one's a little hard to see, I'm not gonna lie. The Venom twerk you can kind of tell. The other two are super obvious. Thank you for the pipe, Drake. Delicious. Alright, let's see if we can not crash our PC with Ace Attorney. It wasn't exactly a PC crash, but it was a crash to the point where I needed to restart my PC. So, like, basically a PC crash, right? That's basically the same thing. The graphical struggle given by Ace Attorney is real. Really, it is just too much. It's too much for one computer to handle. Alright, come on. Discord. Fuck out of here. Okay, we have returned. Hell yeah. Deep voice noise? That would be a good sound effect? What would? Wait, what? Sorry, which one? Alt F5? Alt F5? Wait, what does Alt F5 do? I know Alt F4. Oh, I see. It said any key? Well, that was 2 keys. That would explain why that wouldn't work. I just hit Alt F4 and it supercharged my laptop, made it like super fast. Hell yeah. Give me a moment. Watch as I make the screen size change. Why is my Windows key not working? Just a moment. There it is. Just a moment. My keyboard's, like, color variation has been changed. Device not detected. Okay, yeah, obviously I don't want coastal, thanks. The fuck? Just want normally on with green, thank you. That looks right. Yeah. Okay, there we go. All fixed. My dumbass forgot it's Alt F4. 07s. Anyway, the fact remains, there can't have been anyone else inside that carriage or we all would have seen. Well, lo and behold, in truth of fact, not one of you was witness to the crucial moment the crime was perpetrated. Rip. Yep, you can't leave now. What about your 200 stream streak? Hey, that's one way to keep someone positive day to day, I suppose. I apologize, my lord, but honestly. There was no one else inside that carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. That much incriminating evidence is tantamount to saying we saw the man do it. That's really not what testimony is about. Alright, vampire men, let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more. The victim's fresh blood is clearly visible on the scene, corroborating the witness's accounts. In other words, there is no substantial nor significant change in the facts of the case. Dude, you really gotta stop using that gavel for absolutely fuck up. Like, nobody's talking, nobody's saying anything. You clearly have the floor. You were the last one to say something. You really don't need to just bang it for the sake of it. Very well. Your cross-examination, please, counsel. Yes, my lord. Cross-examination. What the witnesses really saw. There was blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. Hold it! No, the evidence tells us otherwise. We have the gloves the defendant was wearing on the night in question in the court record. I'm well aware of that, sir, but nevertheless, I know what I saw, and I stand by it. The man had blood on both his hands. He's defiant, even in the face of hard evidence. He's steadfastly refusing to admit that he might be mistaken about what he saw. But why? Well, maybe that is what he actually saw. Just a moment. I got, like, hair sneaking under my headset that needs to stop doing that. There we go. Much better. Your reasoning is dire. On one hand or two, the salient point remains unchanged. Minutes after the grim crime, the victim's blood dripped guiltily from the accused's fingers. Don't swing that Okay, good. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters. Hold on, let me actually go back one there. Hold it! Press him on the second one, too. Don't try to downplay this. Whether or not you saw the exact moment of the crime is a matter of fundamental importance, as well you know. But for crying out loud, we all know that no one else could have possibly done it. I was just trying to save us all some time. You have a loan of 20 guineas outstanding with the defendant, do you not? Had you hoped to release yourself from that financial burden by ensuring the defendant was found guilty? Had you hoped? Well, that's not entirely not what I was hoping for. I just lost a little guinea or 10 when I backed the wrong horse in the Derby. He's a gambling addict, gotcha. I was gonna win it all back. There's a fixture this weekend, that's a sure thing. Yeah, no, he wasn't winning shit. I'm a banker. No one bats an eye if I borrow a little spending money for the weekend. Okay, so we've basically picked apart 2 of the 3 witnesses. We don't know about the third guy. I think you may have revealed rather more about your character than you bargained for, sir. This witness's scruples are not on trial here. Proceed to the next witness. Is that really how it's supposed to work? Yeah, I mean, he's not being accused of that crime, so we're not exactly putting him on blast for that crime. I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both of the attacker's hands with blood on them. Hold it! You definitely saw that, too. Blood on both hands? Yes, sir. I mean, I know what you're going to say. Only one of Mr. McGilded's gloves has any signs of blood on it. Right. The thing is, as far as I remember, sir, when I looked down and saw Mr. McGilded sitting beside the other fellow, I don't believe he was wearing any gloves, sir. Aha! As we saw immediately the first time they showed us that picture, he wasn't wearing these gloves. That's correct, sir. And I saw the blood on both his bare hands quite clearly. True that the dark-colored stain on the dark leather gloves wouldn't have been easy to see. I should point out that the police officer who apprehended the accused on the night in question reported that there was no trace of blood on Mr. McGilded's gloved hands. There wasn't blood on his hands? This is puzzling indeed. Why would the plaintiff say that? I feel like that hurts your case, doesn't it? I mean, like, maybe he's just trying to get to the bottom of this shit too, but this must be significant somehow. I'm sure of it. Just a moment. YouTube chat's finally up and working again since the restart. Damn, everyone dipped, eh? Computer crashed for 30 seconds, went from 8 viewers down to 3. Rip. I didn't actually see anything myself. No, not until I heard that scream. Hold it! You didn't see anything? Oh, yes, sir. That is to say, sir, no, I didn't. Very sorry about what I said before, sir. Yes, very sorry. It was very wrong of me to make up stories and say I saw him stab the man. Wouldn't you agree, sir? I know what you're insinuating, but I certainly wasn't making up stories. Still, to say you saw nothing isn't right either, is it? This guy's cousins with the Monopoly man. Maybe like a niece or nephew. Or are you talking about this cold-ass guy? Mr. Beppo, you were driving your horses. At the very least, you must have enjoyed a good view of London's streets, no? Oh, please. You didn't even see that? It was so cold that night, you see. It was all I could do to keep from passing out, sir. Also, why were those two people riding up on the roof of the carriage? It's so weird to me, because we've now confirmed that they aren't charged more or less. It's 4 pence per person. Period. Or rather, he charged them 5, but like, there were only 4 passengers. Couldn't they have just sat all inside? Like, why'd they sit on the fucking roof? Yes, my head was fairly frozen solid, sorry to say, sir. It would seem prudent to avoid travel on the last omnibus service of London's cold winter nights. Beppo! Oh! Anyway, the fact remains, there can't have been anyone else inside that carriage, or we all would have seen. Hold it! And everything you saw of the incident was through the skylight on the roof of the omnibus? That's right. It was fiercely cold that night, but the glass wasn't frosted over. Oh yes, I remember I was shivering. It was so bitter. Which rather begs the question of why the pair of you were sitting on the roof of deck in the first place. Well, I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin. Oh? Why not? It was locked from the inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door. It was locked? That's right, and it's a public bus service, for pity's sake. That's not what I call fair play. Nice, because it's like your name. Yes, I had exactly the same experience. I tried knocking, but the gent inside just gestured at me to clear off. So I had no choice but to climb up to the roof deck and look down longingly into the warm cabin below. Well, I can assure you I wasn't just looking down, I was glaring. Long and hard. And that's precisely why I can tell you with absolute confidence that if there was anyone else at all in that cabin, I would have noticed. Unequivocal, I would say. I'm not sure about these two witnesses, but they really have seen everything inside the cabin through the skylight. No. Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. You were riding this omnibus on the back, and witnessed the events in the cabin through the skylight in the floor of the upper deck. Is that right? That's right. Yes. In that case, there is a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight from you. What? By golly, really? Obviously, at this stage, we can't say for sure, but the possibility cannot be denied that at the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus.
Objection!
We've already confirmed that that's not the case. Enough! Sorry. Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nipponese friend. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here, in the flesh. Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's demand. Yeah, because we need evidence regardless. You will identify the area on this cross-sectional plan of the omnibus. Where exactly in the omnibus are you suggesting that this potential extra passenger could have been situated? I mean, pretty easily just right here, yeah? Like, these guys back here can see where the murder took place over here, but I mean, like, we could just be right over here.
Take that!
Both rows of seats on the roof face in the direction of travel, whereas the seats in the enclosed cabin face each other. Which means the visible part of the cabin, which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight, is as I've drawn here. Ah. That's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite the one on which the victim and his attacker were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible that these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it. Ah! 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 He just likes to shout a lot. It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there. You Nipponese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity. What the fuck? What a weird stereotype. I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. In a British court of law, evidence is paramount. Well, I mean, yes, but also all I have to do is reasonable doubt, right? Like, I don't need to convince everyone that he didn't do it, only that somebody else might have. But, I don't know, maybe British law back then was like, you're guilty or you're not. I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. That is, unless you're able to put a name to this mysterious passenger to whom you allude. A name? Can you, Mr. Narimoto? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Who could it have been? Who could have been in the other seat, which was out of sight from the witnesses on the roof deck? I mean, who the fuck do we have to work with here? Magnus McGilded is probably the guy who's sitting across, right? Because they all saw the guy next to him stab him. If Magnus didn't do it, then Magnus is the person sitting across. That said, just go with the fucking Lord Chief Justice. It was Beric von Zieks. I don't have anyone in here that it could have been, right? Like, outside of it just being Magnus McGilded. There's nothing else from the crime scene to work with. Yeah, yes. I mean, I have an inkling. I understand, my lord. The defense would like to put forward a name. You are a fool. That response was a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. A toast to hard lessons not yet learned. Let us not delay, Counsel. The defense is still to name the passenger in the other seat. This could be it. This could be the chance I've been waiting for to turn the trial in my favor. Dude, you've said that like 4 times now. On that night, on the night of the murder, the person occupying the seat in the omnibus cabin that was obscured from view was... I'm gonna go ahead and present this guy.
Take that!
The passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witnesses on the roof deck failed to see. Has to have been Mr. Magnus McGilden. Mr. McGilden? What are you talking about, Counsel? That's the name of the defendant. Yeah, but we got it right, though. Oh my god, bro! If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my hollowed chalice, do forgive the discourtesy. That's the second time you've done it, actually. That's the second time you've done that. Do you have multiple? People talk of those tiny island nations in the Far East as having a learning and culture of their own. But I see they use the terms ill-advisedly. What are you trying to say? Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless backwater such as yourself may understand. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact. It is the very premise on which this case is built.
Objection!
The dramatic font objection. But that premise may be wrong. What? If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilden, it creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way. What inconsistency, Counsel? The defendant's gloves, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claim that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim.
Objection!
Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the gory remains.
Objection!
The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance. Yes, their testimony remains unchanged. Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night, a third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blood was on that passenger's hands, both of them.
Objection!
And who was this third party? Obviously, the true culprit. Extraordinary! That's not really the craziest... Like, we all followed that line of logic. Order, order, order! Order, order, order! You know what I mean? Jojo as the judge in a courtroom. How's it going, Pa? What exactly are you postulating?
Objection!
Did you just object to the judge? This fucking kangaroo court, man. The defense's postulation is just that, nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused.
Objection!
But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats, and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. Yes. The tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them, though. Yes, that's right. Both gents were most certainly hatted. Hatters do tend to notice such things, sir. Hatters tend to notice when other people are wearing hats. Okay. Hello, but over here this time, Pa. Why is the stream a short? You can turn it sideways. We're doing both. You've got a vertical view and a horizontal view. This is just so that when people come by the stream, they can see kind of what's going on easier, rather than just the tiny little, the landscape version in the vertical, like that. just whoop. You can still get the full version. It's for people who are perusing, basically. And what particular styles of hat did the two gentlemen sport, Mr. First? I'm afraid I don't remember. And you call yourself a hatter? The style of hat makes no difference. There was no third passenger in that cabin. Yes, the style of hat does make a difference. How can you be so sure? Because if there had been, the accused, Mr. McGilded, would undoubtedly have offered to depose the fact. So he's saying that Mr. McGilded would have defended himself by offering up the other person who did stab this guy to death. Unless, that is, you are proposing an even more preposterous explanation. That the accused failed to even notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin in which he traveled? He's right. If there was another person traveling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus, it's inconceivable that Mr. McGilded would have been unaware of it. Sure, but he might have been trying to conceal it because the person who stabbed him is, I don't know, someone else he knows? There is clearly a simple solution to this problem. Bring the accused Mr. McGilded to the stand? Well, what say you, counsel? The prosecution objects, my lord. On what grounds? As a suspect, he will have already made a full statement to the police. But what if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely? Magnus McGilded is no uneducated ruffian. If it indeed turns out that the man has been withholding information, you can be sure it will have been a most deliberate act. Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion? My lord, should we ask Mr. McGilded to testify or not? Yeah, demand the testimony, man. Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. The defense would like to call Mr. McGilded to the stand. In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury. Yes, I need a little time to consider this. If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilded has to say. Get the man out here, I say. It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony. When something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things at the guild. Hearing what the patron of my favorite little park has to say, oh yes, that would be lovely. Yes, the jury says the man must be heard. Very well, the court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to the stand at once. Alright, we're kind of moving to Act 2 here then. Now, maybe what actually happened that night will finally become clear. I'm guessing this is a save point we're going to right now. No? Okay. Bet. Let the proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse of the day? To be sure I have, my lord. There are now two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal that fact from the police? So he's gonna say there wasn't, we're gonna push him on it and find out the truth, and then we're gonna be fighting our own defense. But yeah, no, 'tis not in my nature to hide anything at all. Just answer the questions, please. The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell yous all, or keep my mouth shut? Tell us what, Mr. McGilded? The fine fellow representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger. It's true! Aye, and 'twas me who helped the little urchin get away after it all happened. You... What? No, Magnus McGilded. That convenient excuse can't save you now. I'm truly sorry, so I am Lord Von Thief. I'm sure you'll be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken in by the police. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you. Which was? Well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and not in any way involved, you see. What? If the police had known the wee one was there, they'd have assumed she'd done it. They'd have hauled her into this here courtroom just like myself. I was only trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord. Van Zeeks is like, I don't buy a single fucking second of this. And who was this young child of whom you speak? That, I don't know. You don't know? I will. The wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw her before or since.
Objection!
We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. The prosecution calls for the witness's statements to be disregarded by the court. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings. What? What the fuck? There's a fire? Oh, someone smoke bombed? What is going on? Be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Cover your face. Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff, amid scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber. Guys, it's smoke. It's not that deep. We had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that, for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. Let me guess, the carriage stopped suddenly when the child was holding the knife, causing her to stab the guy. That would have been pretty interesting. I don't... Like, I guess maybe that's a possibility. Like, there was a different scream for some reason, and that caused the guy to stop the carriage, and then she stabbed as the carriage was stopping, or he stabbed as the carriage was stopping. I guess I could see that possibility. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. What on earth just happened in there? Mr. Naruhodo, I've managed to find out what happened in there. Miss Susato, I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke. Yeah, a smoke grenade? It sounds like some sort of thing ninjas use. They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long. But who would have done something like that? The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently. I mean, wasn't everyone trying to flee the courtroom? Flee the courtroom. Why? Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear. A young girl? Then could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilded was just talking about? My thoughts exactly. So he wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilded, actually? There are so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here! I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions, along with the young girl. And why do they get to ask those questions and not me? We're in a courtroom, y'all. We already have a process for this. Y'all don't need to be answering their questions. Get a lawyer. Who is she, I wonder? And what was she even doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit? There's another matter that's troubling me. What's that? The 20 pence. Which means that he not only lied about there being 4 passengers, he then, the cab driver then lied about overcharging 5 pence to the 4 passengers to conceal the fact that there was a 5th passenger. Which tells me she might be related to him? Or something to that effect, or else they paid off the cab driver to conceal it? Conceal that fact? According to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 4 passengers that night at the fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence, exactly. But now it seems there were, in fact, 5 passengers, which means the figures don't seem to add up again. She's right, that is strange. Counsel for the defense, kindly proceed into the courtroom. The trial will recommence in 5 minutes. Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go in straight away. Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's gonna say. Oh, man, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial. We'll know soon enough, Miss Susato. Yes. Yes. 18th of February, at 1 p.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. A mail carrier of some kind? There's the young girl next to Mr. McGilded, look. She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before. This is where I keep my smoke bombs. Well, after that rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Vanzies. My lord, I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which veiled the proceedings earlier. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army. Goodness gracious, the army? What in the devil's name? It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught. Couldn't she have just walked out? And now occupies the stand. Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior? If I may, my lord. Yes, Miss McGilded. I think perhaps I ought to explain here why it is that the wee lass was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that. 'Tis all tied up with the events of that night, so it is. Very well, Mr. McGilded, give your testimony. You will explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case. Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. It's not like I would benefit from knowing what happened or whatever. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then, begorra! A loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. There was a fellow collapsed on the floor at me feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. I remain somewhat baffled, I confess, but from what I gather, on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus, is that correct? 'Tis exactly as the defense counsel said. This lass was the 5th passenger, my lord. Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Are you ready, counsel? Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. Also, this isn't exactly a cross-examination. I'm the one who called him to the stand, so this is technically direct. But, like, you know, we're splitting hairs here. I have no idea where to start. The young girl. On tonight in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then Begorra, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. Okay, yeah, let's start one thing at a time.
Hold it!
And when you first got onto the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? Another thought, the dead dude hopped in trying to kill Magnus cause of debt, the girl stopped him and the struggle... and in the struggle somehow stabbed the dude. I feel like because we're in a moving carriage, that's probably not it. When you first got into the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? There were not. The cabin was empty, and there was no one on the roof deck either. You were the first passenger, as it were. I see. Aye, and that's why I took the backside as I did. 'Tis the most comfortable, so it is. Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat? By all means, 'tis how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, 'tis the most comfortable, and where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well. Okay. Then Begorra, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start.
Hold it!
A loud thud, you say? And a scream? Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? 'Twas like the sound of someone fallen to the ground. That sort of noise. Do you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor having been stabbed? Well, now, you'll remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And when the sound woke me and I opened my eyes, there wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fella on the floor. You didn't see anyone. But at the same moment, you did hear a scream? Ah, from the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume. Not above me, no, my lord. 'Twas from inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before my eyes. Okay. There was a fellow collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. Okay. So now we're back to the idea that the person fell over. Gotcha.
Hold it!
You sat him up? The victim, you mean? That I did, on the seat across from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. And you wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you? 'Tis common courtesy, so it is. I find that a little hard to believe. Oh, Lord Van Zieks. Now why would that be? You waked to find the man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is. Well now, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business. The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest. Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead. So I do try, where it's all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble. Are you suggesting you were just going to leave the man there? Heavens alive, no. I was always intending to report it, so I was. Only, I had a mind to find out the whys and wherefores first. The whys and wherefores? Right you are. There were some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same? Yes, the scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing. Okay. Then I turned to find where the scream had come from, And bless my soul, what did I find?
Hold it!
What did you find? I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except for yourself and the victim. So I did, sir, so I did. As far as I can see, that is. What do you mean by that? Well now, 'tis a queer thing. The wee scream I heard was as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside. Goodness gracious! Under your backside? And when I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, I found there was a wee cubbyhole there for storage. Indeed, I did see that earlier. Mr. Naruhodo, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember? Yeah, I've already seen that. Yes, of course, the whole bus was submitted as evidence. This would be a very good time to have a thorough look around inside. And that's when I found her. There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. Okay, let me go check the evidence real quick. Assuming I can actually do that. Ding dong. Oh yeah, there is blood on the ground. I guess I never noticed that. That's blood, isn't it? Yeah, damn! Oh, it's just... Well, this blood stain is so obvious, that's all. That's all. And yet Van Zieks has made no mention of it. I suppose that does seem a little strange. Why do I have such a bad feeling about this? Blood at a murder scene? Why would they do that? What are you talking about? What do you mean? If you know, you know. The seat looks reasonably soft, but it's actually rather hard when you sit on it. Only just wide enough for two gentlemen to sit side by side, really. Of course, an English gentlewoman would be dressed in such finery. It would be quite impossible for her to climb up to the roof deck, so she would have to be seated in here. A woman in a kimono would have the same problem. Women's clothes are very impractical, aren't they? Okay, but that's not really what I was interested in. I was more interested in this down here. Okay, we've been in here before. Hey, wait! Where'd all the shit go? Hey, yo. Yo, am I crazy or was there stuff in here yesterday? There was stuff in here yesterday. No, I'm not. This is a storage compartment, but there's nothing in here. It's totally empty. You're crazy. Nope, I don't think I am. Something doesn't seem right here, but I can't put my finger on what it is. The stuff is gone! It's fucking weird, man. Let me go back in there real quick and see if there's a second thing. Okay, I don't like that I have to click constantly to do that. I would like if I could skip through things that I've already seen. I kind of wanted to see if there was like a secret compartment in here or something, but I'm not seeing one. Okay, there's nothing in here. Gotcha. Have you ever used any Joker mods in Balatro? Oh yeah, quite a few. Quite a few. For sure. Are you thinking of a specific one, or are you... Let's press him on this. You say she was hiding herself. Aye, that's right. It was hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well, my heart nearly stopped beating in my chest. Ugh. You're really overacting this. Have you ever used Totally Balanced? I don't know if I've played Totally Balanced. I've played Cryptid, which is totally balanced. I'm extremely lightheaded and blurry vision. Brother, you need to go, like, lay down or something, is what you need to do. You probably shouldn't be driving home like that, either. You hydrated? Totally Balanced is the most balanced of all the mods. Mm-hmm. That sounds fake. Still in all, I pulled her out from under there. And sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chinwag with her. The seat opposite? That's right, just next to the dead gentleman there. You sat this young girl next to a corpse, sir. Very much hydrates, finishing a flash IV drink. Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. It's either freezing in the office or you're, like, actively freezing to death or something. And while I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream. A fellow's voice this time. Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats. Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, he must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with a knife in his belly. In other words, the previous witnesses did not, in fact, see you at all, Mr. McGilded. I don't know if I believe Mr. McGilded right now. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was, in fact, this girl and the late Mr. Mason. I'm alone. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage, out of sight. It is certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused, perhaps, with this young girl. After that, of course, with the scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses. Thank you, I've heard enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl? Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. Lestrade? 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 Isn't that a fucking Sherlock Holmes character? Isn't Lestrade the chief of police in Sherlock Holmes? Maybe I'm misremembering. She's a chancer. Earns a crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses. She's a thief. What's commonly called a pickpocket. Yeah. What? The girl here. Maybe they do have some Sherlock Holmes references in this. Okay, I'm pretty sure Lestrade is the chief of police. Hold on, I'm gonna go Google this. Lestrade. Sherlock. Inspector Lestrade. Not the chief of police, but a Scotland Yard detective nonetheless. Yeah, he's an inspector, just not chief inspector. Often interacts with Sherlock. This girl here, a petty thief. Like the guy in the book the girl has called Sholmes. Yeah, we interacted with Sholmes last act. Order! Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. She just shot the judge! With a poison mist. Or something. Or a paintball, one or the other. How dare you? What is the meaning of this? And the fact that he wasn't immediately like, kill her now. It was crazy. He was just like, you shot me. Ah, the girl, she's gone. Open your eyes. I'm over here. It's just a magician. It's just being a little shit. Is she also gonna be Irish? Goodness gracious, how? What was the point in that little sidestep? Oh, she's like British. I know what you lot. Wait, what is the accent I'm going for here? I'm trying to fit Cockney accent. Yeah, I'm trying to find the keyword that puts me in Cockney accent. I thought people casting Fireball was the most magic here. No, that was just a gun. You know what, mate? I know what you lot are thinking, but then see, I just slip back into the Irish because I'm doing the Irish right next to it, and they're pretty damn similar. I know what you lot are thinking, but I can do it. I can do it male. I can do it male, but can I do it female? I know what you lot are thinking. I know what you lot are thinking. I guess I could just go up half an octave. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dipper, you say, slipped up and got caught on the job. She got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed the gent. Go on, that's what's in your heads, ain't it? Okay, we got there. No, not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to determine the truth, not cast... Hey! You shot me with green. Look! Knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers. I'm a professional, alright? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do. And a gun. Yeah, we don't use knives. Guns are the proper way to do things. Let me guess, you don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs? Oh, this? Yeah, this was in a bag I lifted the other day. Down where they keep the four-wheeled drags. That's... no, I'm slipping back into the Irish again, you see. It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink best. Do not wave that thing in my direction again. She's gonna shoot him at some point. So, you admit that you were riding the omnibus on the night in question. More like stowing away. It's alright, lass. You can tell them the truth now. Alright, yeah. Just like the Irishman said. Do it, Jordan. The court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Knives are for savages, chemical warfare. You can pinky out while you Agent Orange someone. That's what makes it a sophisticated man's murder weapon. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. You would tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question. Alright, if I have to. What the girl saw. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses. Just like always. No, that's the wrong accent, man. I can't. How dare you use a knife? Only mustard gas is allowed here. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. See? It's Irish. It's Irish. I realize they're very close, but it's Irish. But it was a right old waste of time. Maybe it's because I'm trying to do a female voice that I'm just intentionally going into Irish. That must be it, right? Because if I just do, like, a guy voice, but it was right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. Maybe I'll just go Irish. I'll tell you, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then after a while, I hear this loud bang. Nearly jumped out my skin, I did. And the scream just came out. It's because of that, this swell found me. He did help me get away, mind. Maybe I'm doing too many long vowels, deep vowels. Yes, he let you go. I fail to understand why you would let this street urchin go, Mr. McGilden. Oh, 'tis simplicity itself, my lord. I mean, she didn't do nothing. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact. How? Because you were sitting on her. Like, she was locked in the thing beneath you. It's the inflections at the end of the statements. Is that it? Is that the only difference? As I'm sure I said before, sir. I was sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself. I think a demonstration is called for. She couldn't have stabbed someone she owes. Yeah, I mean, that's what she said. This is where I sat where I was sat that night. And the cubbyhole of which you have spoken is underneath this seat, I presume? Indeed. Yes. It does appear just large enough to accommodate someone of the girl's stature. Aye, but of course, the wee lass was stuck in there. Because I'd parked myself on the seat for the duration. Ah! So you see, that's why I let the lass bolt. I knew that if the police found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself if the young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent. Even though you must have realized your action would result in your own innocence being called into question. Not at all, my lord, not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking a punt on my own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass. Is that something you would do, Mr. McGilden? My goodness. What a perfect gentleman. My lord, this fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this. I'm ashamed of myself for ever doubting you, sir. So now we're gonna... I already see where this is going. We're gonna turn back the other way. Van Zieks is also gonna question the witnesses, possibly. And then, or the jurors, and poke holes everywhere, and then we're gonna have to fight back from that again. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Saints alive! All 6 members of the jury consensual in their leaning to verdict of not guilty? How long are these trials? Usually a few hours. I mean, it depends on if you're reading all the lines out loud. If you're not, they're probably like an hour and a half. Mr. Naruhodo, this, well, it must mean... It must mean what? That we're victorious. No. No. We've won? No.
Objection!
No. Oh my god, he put his foot on the table. Jesus Christ! If the sight of my iron-heeled Wellington offends, pray do forgive the discourtesy. This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in British judicial practices. Where evidence and reasoning should be paramount, emotion rules the day. Yeah, you say that, but you are the motherfucker who was trying to get me convicted after like 3 lines of dialogue by appealing to their emotions. No. This hypocritical motherfucker was absolutely appealing to that old lady's emotions like 1 hour ago. I guess it was more like 2 hours ago, but whatever. Emotion? The witness's latest statement gives us a clear insight into his true nature. What do you mean, his true nature? DJ, is today's stream a short? It's both. Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? I figured you might be, because I was asked it like twice already today. After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. And there was stuff in there. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in their investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It's noted in black and white here in the police report. Good lord! The evidence has been tampered with. In order to corroborate Mr. McGilded's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat. Huge. Nice. What? No, I already knew that. That's not a surprise, actually. I looked at the thing earlier, and I looked at it again now, and it was empty. Order! Order! How could such a devious contrivance possibly have been efficated, counsel? Naturally. We must acknowledge the deficiencies of the constabulary in allowing this to have happened. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty. Well, my Nipponese friend? Me? When the carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined it in fine detail as would any self-respecting practitioner of the law. Pray, what did you find the condition of the under-seat compartment to be? Oh, to be sure. The young gentleman will be able to clear this up in a jiffy. Sorry? Go ahead. You tell the court now, fella. How this is all an elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Van Zieks? No. I'm your defense lawyer. I am not kissing ass. Only one person could have done this. Smoke Bombs McGee? The old lady. Oh, shit. Juror number 6. Well, counsel, do you have something to say on this matter? How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of that little compartment under the seat in the omnibus? It was not empty. I really don't know if giving this answer is helping my cause as counsel for the defense. But as far as I remember at least, when I first examined the compartment, I'm fairly certain there were a number of articles inside it, yes. Are you sure, counsel? Ought to be whist. What are you saying now, you daft dog? I thought you were on my side here. Sorry, bro, I'm not lying for your sake. I'm a lawyer, not a liar, even if they are kind of close. What game are you playing? Your task is to defend the man in the stand. Why would you say something to compromise his position? He's innocent, but we don't need to lie to get there. As the advocate for the defense in this trial, I confess I'm still not entirely sure where I stand. But it seems to me that I should not state what facts I do know as clearly and honestly as possible. Interesting. 'Tis not altogether pleasing, fella. I'm simply telling the truth, Mr. McGilded. Well, don't forget that you're supposed to be representing my best interests here, lad. Now then. You can be a liar. A liar. A fellow's memory is a curious thing, and not altogether reliable. Now the court must consider the facts. That their cubbyhole under the seat is as empty as the devil's heart, so it is. Do you think perhaps it would be in your best interests now to admit that you might have been mistaken? Why? Why do I feel like something's not right here? I should like the jury to weigh in on this matter, I think. That compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The guild rules state that the omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times. Thus, it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Beppo isn't that irresponsible. That money-lending pleaser and the pick purse are lying. Hey, hold on a second. Wasn't the trial supposed to end as soon as we got 6 for not guilty? Why was he allowed to keep yapping? I can't believe I was nearly taken in. The stinking rich are always stinkers. Nothing but cowards, the lot of them. What? It's a trick. Of course it's a trick. Quite so. I must concur here. Clang. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Yes, but you've swapped back and forth. Yeah. My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly, a verdict of not guilty at this time would be wholly inappropriate. Thank you, counsel. But before we proceed any further, there is the matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Begin. Begin your questioning of the witness, please. Yes, my lord. What just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted, almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem. He really hasn't done much. I think these guys are just lying through their teeth. The trial has basically ended twice already. Yep, but in different directions each time. So I snuck inside the carriage. Nope. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. Sure, press you on that, though. So, you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run? Well, yeah. I mean, what's the point of spending a joey to make a few bob, eh? That's the rum idea, isn't it? That's a rum idea, isn't it? Isn't it? I suppose she means there's no point in spending money to make money. It actually makes sense. Counsel, may I remind you that this girl is a petty thief. Kindly refrain from entertaining her debtors. Well, that does clear up a little mystery of the fares and all. We're paying passengers at 5 pence apiece to make it the 20 to which the cabman testified. What, you didn't run in while it was driving around? I think they mean that there was no one to witness her get in. And one little scapegrace riding for free. The red conch of a driver always goes for some grub before his last run, see? So that's when I slip into the carriage and get myself in under the seat. Nice and easy, right? But your hiding place is a storage compartment, full of equipment for the coach, no? Yeah, there's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there, sure. I always chuck all that out and cram it in a corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much. Yeah, I'm just gonna go Irish with her, even though it's clearly not, it's Cockney, but... And yet, according to the report filed by the police officer who first arrived at the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia. Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all that stuff out so I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell you. It seems we've reached the end of that line of inquiry. Continue. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. For me troubles that night. For me troubles that night? No. Whatever. I keep trying. We'll get it eventually.
Hold it!
A waste of time? Why is that? Well, most nights I'm on my own with in the God permit at least some of the time. Wait, what the fuck are you talking? I'm sorry, English, please? Well, most nights I'm on my own in the God permit at least some of the time. I beg your pardon? Did you say God permit? Oh, yeah. Well, that's what my kind call it. You say the omnibus is supposed. The point is, any normal run, the carriage ain't got no one in it for a while. And that's when you come out of your hiding place and get away. That's it. Only that night, this cove was sat on me seat from the start. And he didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck. Do you mean to tell us that you were present in the carriage for the duration? You were under the seat the entire time while the events unfolded in the enclosed cabin? Yeah. Right, mister. To be sure, to be sure. I was as shocked as anyone. You don't expect to lift the cushion you've been sat on and find a child now, do you? So this Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit, then. So then who is? I tell you, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there.
Hold it!
So you couldn't see out into the cabin at all? Not a jot. Most days I push the cushion up with me head and look out the crack. Then I can have a butcher's at. Who I'm gonna fiddle. I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher. No, that's not what it means. I mean, I could have a look. The seat I get under ain't as plush as the other one, see? So most of the time, the passengers plant themselves opposite. Okay, that is curious. Because Mr. McGilded has mentioned that he prefers the other seats because they're more comfortable. Even though we actually heard Naruhodo also say that the cushions seemed not as comfortable. This is an interesting little point here. But for some reason that night, this here Irishman spent the whole journey right over me head. Sorry, Breaky? Wait, what? Also, hey, how you doing? And for that reason, you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out, I see. I see. Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places. Feels too much like I've been thrown in clink. Cars movie reference. Oh, fuck. And I didn't get it? Oh, my bad. We got ourselves an otter! Is that when one of them, like, fell asleep? You know that scene where the tuner cars roll up on Mac as he's sleeping? Oh, okay. Gotcha. Why doesn't she just stick to picking people's pockets in the open, then? I'd say there's some reason that she's not letting on, judging from her demeanor. So anyways, I was a bit scared, but I had to just stick it out under there. Nothing else for it. Then after a while, I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped out me skin, I did. And the scream just came out. Alright, let's press around this too. When you say a loud bang, do you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor? I don't know, is what that expression says. Could have been, I suppose. I don't remember so well. The point is, it made me jump. And you let out a scream, involuntarily. That's right. And then I felt the cushion over me head get lighter all of a sudden. So what brought you, what caused you to make that reference, Breaky? Did you recently see that movie or something? Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes. Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood in order to stab his victim, could it not? Well, girl, did you see what happened at that crucial moment? Yeah, I saw it. I pushed up the cushion and had a quick butcher's while I had the chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting up with the bloke that wanted... Jesus Christ, yeah, it's very Cockney. Unfortunately, I can't do a Cockney accent, so you get Irish. The Irishman was sitting up the bloke what had fallen on the floor in the seat opposite. Oh, word. It was just like recently spoken of, I see. That matches Mr. McGilded's account, of course. But then, the fella suddenly turns around and looks right at me. I sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. And then I saw your name on follow list and said, oh, DJ streaming. I'm gonna go drop a Cars reference on his head. Yeah, that was a long, long time ago that I last saw Cars. How many Cars are they up to at this point? Damn, that's your favorite scene in fiction? Holy. No, Cars is definitely fiction. I don't think Cars was a biography or anything. 4? They got 4 Cars. Alright, well, I think I saw the first 2 in theaters when I was young, and then I got too old to want to watch Cars by the time they'd come out with the 3rd. Hey, sir, can I have another? That might not help me get that accent down. I sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. I should never have risked looking. Because of that, this swell found me. He did help me get away, mind. I think it's just because I'm trying to do a female voice at the same time, and the inflection that I use to get a female voice is similar enough that I just slip back into the Irish.
Hold it!
And when Mr. McGilded discovered you, he pulled you out from your hiding place? I was scared stiff, I was. He dragged me out and sat me down on the seat and all. There's only 3 fully out. Oh, okay. Well, I still only saw the first of it. Yeah, the bloke had a knife in his gut. He was still bleeding. Then the carriage lurched a bit, and he ended up falling onto me. How awful. Both me ends got covered in blood. Made me feel sick as a dog. Both her hands covered in blood. That must be what the roof passengers saw. After that, I believe you talked with Mr. McGilded for a while, is that correct? He asked me some stuff. Wanted to know me name, and what I was up to and that. Then I heard something from up above. Someone screamed. Yes, Mr. First on the roof deck, one would presume. Well, I didn't want no one seeing me face, so I didn't look up. Then the horses were drawn up smartish, and this here Irishman says to me, get back under the seat. I'll see that you can get away later. So then, who stabbed the guy? All 6 members of the jury had decided the defendant was innocent. For one brief shining moment, yes. It's clear that they are all still very unsure. If we could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony. Wait, is this this is the first time I've ever actually got 3 minutes of ad? Hey, that's the DJ difference. That's the DJ difference. I guess he can't hear me, eh? I have this niggling feeling. Something's bothering me, but I just can't quite put my finger on it. Okay. Snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles last night. I tell you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. That does track. Then after a while, I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped out my skin, I did, and the scream just came out. That is a little weird. I still don't really know what I'm supposed to be presenting as evidence here. Because of that, this swell found me. He did help me get away, mind. I haven't seen anything... I haven't seen... None of... They don't seem to have, like... reacted at all. You know, there's not, like, any reaction I can poke at. Oh, hey, you didn't get a full 3 minutes, then you only got 2.5. Huge. It's crazy, they actually found 3 minutes of ads to give you. If we could find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony, I'm sure we would clinch the verdict we want. We're looking for something to help us? No. That doesn't seem right. I mean, like, who stabbed the victim? Who stabbed the victim if she was under the seat? Like, the whole point of this case is that we found someone else who was also in the carriage who stabbed the victim. If she didn't do it, then it had to be him. I tell you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then after a while, I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped out my skin, I did. And the scream just came out. Okay, so... what the fuck happened here? Maybe the hiding place bit, as we know it was full? But, like, we've kind of already talked about that. Like, where do we present the evidence to the contrary? I don't know where I'm supposed to be presenting this. It's because of that this swell found me. He did help me get away, mind. Do I have to go through this whole thing again and just, like, poke through again? Well, that does clear up the little mystery of the fairs and all. Right? Yeah. I mean, maybe I can just push her on that very first one. You just chuck all that out and cram it in a corner somewhere. Huh. Yeah, maybe I'll just poke that. I guess?
Objection.
There's clearly something odd about that last statement. Yeah. There's clearly something odd here indeed. Your behavior council. So they don't like that, okay. Weird. Also, let me save since I haven't in a while. Do a little bit of saving. Cool. So if it's not that, you can't press, like, during, you know, I can't present evidence to the contrary during a follow-up press, I don't believe, so. Got nothing to show for me troubles that night. Okay. I don't think I have any... We don't have any counter to that, right? I mean, there's still this missing button that I find rather odd. That's not exactly a reward, though. I mean, where would you even put all that stuff? You know what I mean? I guess I never examined this. That part is the sheath, isn't it? Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, sorry, yes, I just don't really like blades. Oh. Those don't seem like the words of a man with a large katana slung from his waist. That's not a blade, that's Kazuma's soul! Did I not say, like, exactly that recently? It's not a sword, it's a soul. Anyway, there's no sense in delaying it. Let's see what the blade looks like. Yep, that's bloody alright. Ugh, looks a lot like blood. It surely is blood, the victim's. Ugh, an Englishman's blood looks a lot like a Japanese man's blood. Did you think it wouldn't? I think I'm gonna pack it up and head home as I'm not harnessing any of the stank. The lack of stank hurts you. Soul Eater type shit. Type shit. Sorry, it's just that we've only just arrived here in Great Britain. I'm finding it a little hard to adjust. Yes, I do understand. And I can rotate this around, right? An ornate letter M. Undeniably Mr. Magnus McGilded's initial. And it's beautifully gilded, too. It must be very valuable, I should think. Ah! What is it? Look at this M. If you turn it upside down, it becomes a W. Yeah. Or it could be nothing. A W? Yes, this is one of those, you know, turnabout cases. I'm sure of it. Are you sure? Are you sure about it? I'm afraid I don't know at all. But what I am sure of is that this is an M. Oh. Well, that idea was quickly quashed. Well, there's not much else to see on the blade here. It's bloody, and there's an M. That's what we've got. Yep, that's it. Cool. There's not going to be anything else in the debtor's ledger, is there? Hopefully, please? Nope. So, looking at the knife and grip, yeah. It really should be a W, you think? Like, it could be a W, but it looks just fine as an M as well, right? You don't really start with the curl of an M, though. Like, wouldn't you end with the curl? I don't know. Could go either way there. But I think they were dissuading us from that option. Yeah, I feel like I'm just missing something. I can't, like, further examine anything on this particular photo. And there's nothing else to see here besides there's some blood on the gloves. How does the suspect write their name? I mean, the name is Magnus McGilded over here. I don't have his signature anywhere else, unfortunately. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. Let me press you on this again. Waste of time, why is that? So you just get on the omnibus, you go somewhere, you pickpocket some people, and then you go home. Yep. Mm-hmm. This cove was sat on me seat from the start. Yes, this person is supposed to be British. Yes, we're in a British courtroom in Britain. In the 18-somethings. 1880s or something like that. You mean to tell us you were present in the carriage for the duration? You were under the seat the entire time while events unfolded in the enclosed cabin. And who made this shit? Americans? Why does it have to be fucking Americans, man? What about this game looks American to you? It's a fucking Japanese game. It's anime as shit, bro. She broke out a fucking smoke bomb gun in the courtroom, and they were like, okay, that's fine, I guess, and they moved on. Try not to blame Americans for bad stereotypes challenge. Impossible. Right, mister? Why are you guys saying that to each other? You don't expect to lift the cushion you've been sat on and find a child now, do you? So Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit, then? Yes. I mean, I'm gonna keep presenting the carriage, because I don't know what else I would present as evidence. Because if it was British made, they clearly aren't gonna spell out the accent. They're just gonna assume you know the accent. Is that what's up? Is that what you're saying there?
Objection.
Okay, so they don't want that. I'm literally just gonna go through and do every single one on every single one, because there is no way for me to know otherwise. I'm low-key bringing this up because it's pretty much just my British accent. Oh, really? Well, you better be glad I'm not very good at it and have just decided to go with Irish for her, because otherwise I would be butchering your accent right now. Instead, I get to butcher an Irish accent. You hear this loud bang. No, because they don't talk, so if it wasn't, we'd have no idea. What? I'm doing accents for everyone. What do you want? I'm like half an hour to 45 minutes away from a major city. Okay. I genuinely have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing here. Is there like some evidence I don't have?
Objection.
I'm just gonna present the Okay, thank you. They just wanted me to do it on the third statement for some particular reason. The witness's last statement is clearly at odds with this piece of evidence. I'm sorry, counsel, but I failed to see the connection. Accent difference from mine to that city is comparable to Texan compared to Valley Girl. Gotcha. So it's just rural versus city. Interesting. No. It's not rural versus city. I mean, like I'm sure there's other accents as well. Every major city will have a different accent. That's curious. Now, are these accent differences all extreme? Or is it like something that only a British person would really notice outside of the biggest... So, because people outside Britain know that there's different British accents, you know what I mean? But like, if you go 50 miles down the road to the next city, is someone not from Britain going to notice? You'd be able to tell? How many different accents are there in Britain? Because if there's one for every major city, isn't that like fucking 40 or something? Gotcha, so they didn't want that one either. My bad. I have genuinely no idea what you want from me, so I'm just presenting.
Objection!
If we take into fact size of country and amount of accents, we'd be same as US. Or us. We'd be same as... it must be US. Like, the number of accents is the same as in the US? I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. You telling me 1/10 as many people per accent? Or I guess not 1/10. Wait, how many people live in the UK? Or, yeah, just the general wider area there. Population? You guys got like 100 million people or something like that? Probably less than that, right? It's not big enough. Even if you are densely populated, there's no way you got, 100 million. 70 million, okay. So 1/5 as many people per accent? You'll just make shit up for the heck of it? Like, what causes so many accents to appear in such a small place? Alright, let's just present this here as well. Oh, never mind. I clicked back in, and it forwarded the text, so now I gotta go through this again. My bad. My bad for clicking.
Objection!
That reveals a damning inconsistency, that last statement. His eyes are going wild. Damning, you say? As I look at you, Council, I see your trembling hand, your pallid expression, and your perspiring brow. Huh? Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, so it's got nothing to do with the carriage, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Because now I'm confused as to what the fuck we're actually talking about that is evidence. Do we know what the fuck we're doing here? Genuinely, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, this is the first time I've been like, I simply don't get what the like, I know there are inconsistencies here. I've seen them, but the only thing that actually relates to them is like, the seat being locked. And her being unable to kill the person because of it. But like... what... You know what I mean? Like if this isn't it, what is it? Crime scene photograph. Can't flip that around at all. And pressing people on any of these hasn't done anything.
Hold it!
Like, I haven't seen anyone slip up. It would be very strange for Mr. McGilded to slip up, though. I'm not gonna lie. She doesn't like small, dark places.
No.
Oh, now he's slipping up. Hold on, he didn't do this the first time I pressed her. Interesting. Okay.
Excuse me.
Is something wrong, Mr. McGilded? Oh, I do apologize. Was there something the matter, Counsel? I'm just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps? You seem to be thinking something to yourself. Oh, no. 'Twas nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass is all. I remember feeling desperate myself as a young lad shut up in the dark. 'Twas terrifying, so it was. I see, yes, I'm sure we can all sympathize. I'm still scared of the dark now, after all. Aye, and I don't know about yourself. But I find that the darkness seems to make everything you hear seem that much louder as well. Yeah. I suppose it does, maybe. Miss Lestrade, did you hear something that night? Anything? An unusual noise, perhaps? No, not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. Be jabbers, there's no need to tell the whole world of me foibles, you little scamp. What a pity. If only Miss Lestrade had heard something, it might have given us a vital new clue. Yes. What should we make of that last statement of hers? Profoundly important. My lord, I believe the statement just made by the witness is profoundly important. Profoundly important? But all she said was that she heard nothing. Yes, which is profoundly important, which is the profoundly important point. I'm almost sure of it. Bro needs to fix up that wig. Keeps falling off his head. I'm almost sure that I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern mind, Counsel, nevertheless. Why is everyone just so blatantly racist? What the fuck? My Eastern mind? Miss Gina Lestrade, you will supplement your formal testimony by repeating that last statement, please. What? Supplement? What you on about? Don't give me all your fancy talk. I know what you're trying to do. Well, it won't work on me. That's right. Insult the judge. Always a good move. I was straining my ears to work out what was going on, but all I could hear was snoring. Then after a while, I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped out my skin, I did. And the scream just came out. Right, I need to actually press her on this new statement.
Hold it!
So you were straining to hear what was happening the entire time since the moment you hid yourself? Not exactly, no. Sorry? Well, there was no one in the cabin to start with. I could just push the cushion up and have a butcher to see what was what. But then, when I saw this swell getting on, I got me head down so he didn't notice me. And Mr. McGilded sat on the seat under which you were hiding, correct? Yeah. Would you have him in even, eh? What a mug. Yep, I can use context clues to figure out what the fuck you're saying, lady, but I surely wouldn't say it. So then all I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out there as soon as I heard him leave, see. But would he? Not likely. Even though we stopped here and there, I never heard the door open. So I just had to stay put and listen to him driving his pigs to the market. Snoring like an old log he was. That's suspicious. Yeah. It doesn't add up. Like, if you never stopped the carriage, doesn't that mean that both of them were in the carriage from the start? Did they get on at the same time? Miss Lestrade, what you have just told the court is clearly at odds with the facts. Huh. At odds, are you sure of that? Absolutely. It seems my learned Nepalese friend is not as dull-witted as I feared. So Van Zieks realized it too. Counsel, I must insist that you bolster the claim with evidence, or some complicit party's name at the very least. Yes, my lord. I expect you to demonstrate this alleged contradiction to the court. According to Miss Lestrade, whilst she was hiding in the omnibus that night, she heard nothing but the sound of Mr. McGilded snoring. But think, Bunoski, think. This is gonna have to wait on a BRB in a few. Sounds good, Briggy. There's something else she should have heard. Show a person, show a piece of evidence. I mean, you'd think you'd hear the Mason at least, right? Very well, my lord. Allow me to elaborate. On a particular sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear on the night in question. The sound very clearly explained by the presence of the following person.
Take that!
Thrice Fried Mason. Yes, my lord. The sound that Miss Lestrade cannot have failed to hear is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus. Order, order. Explain your reasoning, counsel. Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board the omnibus. Is that correct? Nah, we're going with Fried. I like Fried a lot more. Like he's just like thrice fried. I like Fried way more. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board the omnibus. Is that correct? No, he's the guy who's fried. Yeah, of course I was. I got on while the driver was in the pub, didn't I? And the next person aboard the omnibus was Mr. McGilded. That it was, not a soul in the cabin when I climbed aboard. He'd look... At least, not in plain sight. So you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at that time. Did I not just say as much? I wasn't traveling with anyone else, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? Through the crack under the seat cushion. He was on his own for sure. And from what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey. During which time, did you not hear the door opening or closing at all? Nah, I never heard it. That's exactly what I was listening for, wasn't it? Waiting for this swell to leave. In which case... When and how did the victim end up in the carriage? Ah. We know that the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestrade's statement about what she did, or did not hear, is at odds with the facts. Huh. Yes, this petty thief's statement was clearly flawed. Lord Van Zieks. Yes, he knew. He knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in Miss Lestrade's statement. It would seem words of thanks are in order for my learned friend. What are you talking about? You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statements. are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more. She's about to slam down her... Whoop, we're going back the other way. Ah. She didn't even say anything. I didn't want to judge the dear little mite just because she had some rather naughty ways. But I must say, I can't abide liars. And neither can I. Mr. Foreman, I didn't want to judge the girl just because she has some less than salubrious ways. But I must say, I cannot abide liars. And we're back to 5. Mr. Naruhodo, that's 5 jury members leaning towards guilty. Hey, quit pouring that shit out, bro. You gonna drink it this time, or you gonna throw it somewhere? Well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nipponese friend. To the considerable troubles you have spared me. Oh, he's actually drinking this time. Definitely missed his mouth, but we'll let that slide. Yes, very refreshing. Ah, what are you playing at? Have you forgotten who you're working for, you useless Eastern madmen? This is carnage. It's perfect. Why do we have an actual genuine psychopath on the jury? Juror number 2 is the only one left. Mr. Naruhodo, the way this is going... I know, if we can't find some new way to convince everyone of Mr. McGilded's innocence, the judge will rule and we'll have lost. I very much wanted to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen, but those of us in service know we must accept hard truths.
Hold it!
I think juror number 3 is guilty just off vibes. Very realistically, that could just be... He could have just hopped on and stabbed the dude in the left for the fuck of it. Yes, the witness's last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on this whole case. What do you say? Counsel! I'm sorry, sir? Whatever do you mean? Counsel, I will not tolerate you attempting to prorogate my adjudication. Prorogue? I'm gonna go prorogue. Prorogue my adjudication. Explain yourself at once. When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand. And yet, the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus? Okay, follow-up theory. What if someone just, like, tossed the body in the carriage? Like, they just opened the door and threw the bitch in and closed the door, and that's why he's on the floor in there. It's nighttime, so no one up top saw it. The dude was sleeping. The girl underneath just heard the thud. There's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. He was put there after he died. There's another entrance, doesn't seem right. That seems silly. Hold on. I'm pretty sure you can't open... Can you... I thought we already confirmed that you couldn't open the skylight. And there's no way the people sitting up there wouldn't have seen the motherfucker, like, fall in through the roof, right? That doesn't track at all. There's no other, like, opening besides, like, a window, and it doesn't seem like the window's actually open. Take a peek inside one more time. I don't believe there's any extra entrance to such a place, right? Like, they couldn't have seen him. They would have seen him coming in from the roof. There are no windows. There's none of this. The blood on the floor is rather suspicious, right? The best I can say is that he was put there after he died. It's possible that he was, like, already in the carriage and Mr. McGilded's just lying. That's also possible.
Objection!
Tell me, my learned friend, what was the function of that obviously in your last sentence? Hmm? I like how whenever I present something weird or wrong, they're just like, I'm not listening. That's really not the point. The point is that the victim must have been moved into the carriage afterwards. Then answer me this. How could a cadaver have been placed inside the moving carriage? Well, obviously. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so you want me to say that Mr. McGill... What? I bet it... okay. I am going to continue saving. We're on part 3 of the trial? I thought we were on part 2. He's already in there.
Objection!
Are you telling me that there's another entrance? Hold on. Are you telling me there's another entrance? What other entrance, motherfucker? Besides the door. If the door wasn't opened even once, the only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way.
Objection!
I wondered what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. But behold, the omnibus is here for all to see. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with the door, the other has only windows. Fixed windows, which cannot possibly open. In short, there is no entrance to the cabin other than the door.
Objection!
But there could be. There's one possibility you haven't considered. Oh, really? Yes, one other way inside that isn't the door. Another opening, the use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin. I'm actually curious about this too, because I thought we had already said that the skylight cannot open. Like, I'm pretty sure that's like the very first thing I looked at on the omnibus. The defense will identify the location for the court. Where on earth is this entrance by which you propose the victim entered the cabin? I mean, I'm still gonna go with the skylight, right? Like, I don't... There's no other way in.
Take that!
I'll be very curious as to how they explain this. The answer is obvious. It can only have been the skylight. I say, the skylight. Motherfucker fell in through the roof. Your ludicrous proposal almost has me lost for words, however.
Objection!
The skylight may well have been large enough for someone to pass through.
Objection!
So you claim. But do you have a shred of evidence to support your addle-brained theory? Both Mr. McGilden and Miss Lestrade said the same in their testimonies. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such as the noise made by someone falling to the floor. Yes, which has already been explained, as the sound of the victim falling from his seat having been assaulted with the dagger. Yes, it has, but would a man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witnesses described? A noise loud enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry, in fact. Good gracious. They just, like, fell out of a window they were passing by, but, like, they wouldn't have broken the sky. They can't break the skylight. Like, it's... Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment that the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it.
Objection!
You're now suggesting that the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin? That's simply impossible. How can you be so sure? Because if the victim had fallen inside through the skylight, as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. And yet, not one person made mention of such events in their testimony. Well, yes, that's true, but... Might the humble fella make a wee comment here? Mr. McGilden. To be sure now, the two fellows who were sat on the roof that testified afore said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight. But it seems to me, my lord, that 'tis not so much a case of them not saying, but... Aye. 'Tis a case of them being unable to say. What? I think perhaps the two fellows do be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Is he suggesting that the two up top are the ones who killed him? Would yous not agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Oh my goodness, surely not. Those two chaps on the roof. Oh, she is typing. Oh, you mean the ones that stuck the knife in the man were... Ah! It's an option. Just what exactly are you insinuating here, you blither? Yeah, well, what is this? What is this? You rotter, he said. You rotter. What are you insinuating? What the fucking Popeyes is this? Like, it straight up looks like something out of a cartoon in the 50s. This is a flaming outrage. I've good mind to give you a blinker in a minute. He'll give you a shiner in a minute, he said, and so will I. Mr. Fairplay. He's the jockey, he's getting to fix the race. First? Oh, the two are in on it together with the money? Maybe the other guy overheard them and was like, hey now, that's a bad thing to do, mister. I can kind of see it. You're effectively accusing me, a city gentleman and well-respected banker. And me, a very angry hatter. Suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed that man in the guts. It's a disgrace. It's scandalous. I protest in the strongest possible terms. That's right, I protest too. About you, you rotten scoundrel. Bruce Fairplay and Lady First. Well, it's not exactly what his name is. I do believe they could be in on something together. But I don't know about a jockey. Maybe. He's a hatter, though. It'd be kind of weird to not know that already, that he was a jockey or something like that. I will not permit this wanton invasion of the stand. Return to the anteroom at once. But this is beyond reason, my lord. Ah, it's outrageous. It's very hurtful, you know. My lord, if I may comment. Go ahead, Lord Venzies. It was the defense that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof. Accuse? I never intended to. It seems, young Nipponese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. You proposed to this court that the victim fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the event. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimated their criminal guilt. In our British courts of law, that is what is termed a baseless accusation. I know it was rash to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but you can't just dismiss it without a second thought. What are we wasting time for? Get them to testify. I thought there was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fellow. We have to see this matter through, Ralph, one way or another. There's filth and rubbish in our midst. Yes, this meanwhile is the peak of protocol in a courtroom. Is everyone chanting testify like a sporting event. What's happening, Mr. Naruto? The spectators in the public gallery they're in a complete frenzy. Shut. Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. My lord? You will take the stand again and make another formal testimony. In reference to the indictment brought by the defense. Yes, my lord. I didn't come here for this. Bro's got something under his hat. Watch that. He's gonna be like, boo! There's gonna be something under there. There's no time to think this through. All I can do is keep pushing forward. This is a good saving point. Because we're at, what, just under 3 hours now at this point, I want to say? Why am I such a concubine? Am I supposed to be getting paid for all that I do? Here I thought it was just for the funsies. Alright, guys. We're not gonna worry too much about the rating out or any of that. I am simply going to go get lunch as I hunger. I hope you guys all enjoyed the stream. I will be back tomorrow with some Slay the Spire. And then I will see you guys. Once more, I must reiterate, Saturday is the 24-hour stream. I was gonna try to push through and finish this case, but I'm too hungry. I need to go eat. It's probably another hour of that case. Anyways, we'll finish it up next week. I will see you guys for that, though. Peace out, y'all.